Hello and welcome back to Arsenal Fan TV. And I want to say hello to all the people that are tuning in for the first time, or perhaps recently you've been sent a link where you've seen a couple of ugly, nasty, thuggish Australians that said some really disheartening, discouraging, and just awful things.
Unimpressive things.
They were unimpressive.
Classless.
They were uninspiring. They were classless. They lacked class, different to Heinrich Klaassen. Now...
Words will be eaten. Eggs will be on faces.
Mate, I know, like, here's how I actually feel. I know I want to scream. I don't want to do the thing, say the line, Bart dance, etc. I'm just so flat. I'm so flat. That was so
crying?
fucked. That was so cooked. Australia is getting absolutely pumped at the moment. I don't even know. I'm just like, I think I'm actually a bit heartbroken.
There are a couple of wagons being dragged across the ground on the field today. Believe me, that's before you get to timber.
Yeah. We are actually sitting in a cemetery right now, and I can see half the Australian team in here. R.I.P. Fuck me. What do you say? What I would say is if you're watching this from Australia, you can catch all the action from the World Test Championship final exclusively in Australia on Prime Video. Pez, I could bring you in. I probably should have gone bigger to get the engagement and reaction, etc.
No, that's all right. You're being polite. You're in a cemetery.
I'm just flat. And what makes it worse? Okay, Travis Head's been hit by the spider cam. There's been 2 wickets today. Every single South African that's come up to us today has been nothing but polite, gentle, respectful,
that's the nastiest
courteous.
thing of all.
And then at the end of the day's play, Sky puts on the World Cup final that Australia loses to England. So I cannot wait to split the G and cry into that drink. If that's what you want, South African fans, I'm giving it to you.
Mate, it's not just South African fans.
If that's what you want, world cricket, if that's what you want, I'm giving it to you.
And the day started pretty promisingly for Australia. The problem with today, right, is excuses. It's weather. Now we woke up this morning to the sun beaming down on a glorious summer's day in London. Right? And, it was scorching. There was sweat. Everyone was wearing shorts. And this is the thing. We learnt the day before that when the sun's out, session 1, the batting is good. And we knew there was a problem when Mitch Starc and Josh Hazlewood started leaning on Rabada down the ground. Every single run was like a catch-22 situation. It was like, shot Starkey. That's going to make it harder for them. Fuck, they're going to be able to bat really well on this. And you're like, where are the fucking clouds? Where is the cloud seeding? This is what Cummins has been trying to tell us the whole time. We have been fucked by the London sun. Now, that shouldn't be happening.
That shouldn't be happening.
2025. You said you wouldn't scream. I apologise to the people in the cemetery and those dogging in the bushes. Famous dogging park, apparently, by the way, which now makes sense.
I actually went the other way. When I saw Starc and Hazlewood scoring runs, I was like, well, South Africa aren't even going to get close to this.
Yeah, that's right.
I was going to be ultra confident. One run actually meant 2 runs. Hence was my arrogance.
I actually saw Hazlewood drive Rabada and Adam Markham started clapping. He just said shot off. That is a great shot off. How's it coming on, mate? Because today it was, the deck turned into a road pretty much. And we'll get into South Africa. They batted very well. But to kick it off, I have received 3 text messages from English journos who want to have a beer.
Are we getting a beer? Yeah. It'd be nice to catch up with some old friends, actually.
No,
We've already been here for 5 days.
Where are the boys?
Yeah, it'd be nice to catch up.
So, look, first things first, 282 set in the day. And given it was, I think the lead was 212 overnight, that's a great result for Australia. They only had 2 wickets in hand. Nathan Lyon goes early. It felt good for Australia. Australians overnight, watching on Amazon Prime, obviously, they turn on the TV and they saw Doss on the bell, doing the bell in an enormous oil baron hat. Next shot is Jeff Thompson at 10:57 a.m. necking beers. And you're thinking, it's our day. It's our day.
He's our answer to schooner scorer. R.I.P. to Bob Hawke, obviously the original schooner scorer.
Of course. And that's right. And so it's another morning, another flatty. But why was it so fucking sunny? When we're listening, and we had a bit of comms going as well. Nassan Brody, our dear friends, was saying day 3 is a wonderful. Don't worry about what's happened before. Day 3 is a wonderful day for batting, and it was almost just like you sound excited about that, gents. I mean, it proved right, but watching it at the start, you're like, fuck, 28 wickets has fallen on this. Like I know in Test cricket, batting can get better. Days 2 and 3 are normally good for batting. In like a good cricket wicket, bid in on a day 1, day 2, 3 for batting. Spin comes in 4 and 5. When there's 28 wickets in the first 2 days, normally you're looking at deterioration from there. But that wasn't the case. Like the deck became great to bat on. I don't think it's an excuse to say that. And we will again. Like there's flowers everywhere for South Africa. There's a garland. There's a bed of flowers for South Africa. But yeah,
Cummins said last night that the trend of the game was lower scores. So I blame him again for getting my hopes up. But yeah, even when
he's been lobbying about trends.
My arrogance has been so out of control that Nasser Hussain, an England captain that scored 15 Test hundreds, maybe more, he was saying day 3 Lords, good to bat, and I was like, Nas, I played a bit of 3s, 4s, mate. Right. I think I know what's going to happen here.
Mate, 28
Settle down,
28 wickets. Have you played the card, mate?
Yeah. Where are we getting the beer at tea time?
Yeah, exactly. Nasser did say after that it was really dry, so it was more of a day 4, day 5 pitch. So I think he was hedging a bit.
Kind of both camps there, yeah.
But and so at the start it was like Starkey and Hart were giving it the very much like, fuck's sake, boys, this is how it's done.
Yeah.
And there was the catch-22 issue of like, all right, boys, like don't run out of petrol tickets too much. You got to bowl, but it's like, but if you score runs, you take wickets.
Yeah. So using carrots, conserving carrots.
So it was hard to know if they needed to get out or not, or if Cummins needed to wolf whistle them in, like Michael Clarke.
Yeah, I think at that stage, Stark had faced the most innings of the match, and it's the second most balls he's ever faced in Test cricket.
Yes.
So I guess there was a few signs it was a good day to bat.
But there was a sense at best for Australia. Firstly, runs are good, revelationary comment there. But secondly, it was robbing South Africa potentially of the best time to bat. The day before had been great in the morning. Clouds had rolled in, and the deck had livened up. There was talk of thunderstorms later on in the day. We spent the whole day just going any danger of some cloud.
These goddamn beautiful European summers have fucked us once again.
Exactly. Well, before Brexit, but yeah.
Sorry,
but
of course.
I mean, and so South Africa had the in-out field, like Stark's farming the strike, like one of the great farmers of all time, drinking his rainwater neat and headbutting a tractor into reverse, and it was just, again, we're sitting back, we're side-mouthing, it's great. You're thinking, cop that South Africa,
Yeah.
You had all the momentum yesterday, and now, their fans had to watch the most frustrating thing in cricket, which is your team not trying to get wickets when they're trying to get the 10th one.
Yeah.
And Australia got up to 282, and you thought, the cartel can do enough with that. Get a couple of sniffs early and get on with the show, but it didn't really happen.
280, the game had gone. I mean...
Yeah. And the game was gone, just in terms of the structure of the World Test Championship as well.
Yeah. Not according to Jay Shah's Instagram, though, who really put a nice reel together. Yeah. I mean, even though it was flat, you still thought, there's going to be enough chances. Like, Australia would be able to create 12, 13 chances.
Yeah.
I mean,
balls in areas,
I know
pressure.
South Africa would have been confident, right? Of course they would have been confident. But South Africa's going to equal the second highest run chase at Lords ever.
Yeah, I mean,
how does this happen?
How in Test cricket? In Test cricket, if you're chasing 280 in the 4th innings and you're South Africa in a final,
right?
That's enough to be like, it's gonna be tight at best.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're not going to strum this off our cocks.
No, that's right. And they're about to do it 2 down.
Yeah.
And Australia may never take a wicket again.
Yeah. Now, people are listening right now, and they'll be like, and probably more objectively than us, in the sense that we've just been in the throng of the emotion of the day.
Yeah.
And they'll be thinking, look, there's rain overnight, a couple of poles early, and wickets, and it could be cat pigeon stuff, and it could, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I got to tell you, from the ground, the South Africans are they are in raptures, right? They are singing outside the ground. They're singing their skipper's name.
Mate, it looks like an absolute day out.
It looks like the greatest day for a South African fan. And again, flowers, fair fucks. But they're singing Bavuma's name. They're singing Rabada's name. They're singing Markram's name. And think about the history they've had. They know this is done. They know that it's done. Watching Australia in the field, they were flat as, and as they were just reflecting the deck. Now
we are about to watch one of the greatest gas trucks of all time. So stay tuned, Australia, on Saturday night.
That's right. We're trying to invite it on because all of our predictions so far have been very good. A lot of people talking about spina bifida to me today, but
fair enough.
So second thing, Markram and Bavuma, he goes. So Rickleton goes early. He's well caught by Carey, and Markram and Mulder then just started. So he comes in at 3. Mulder. They start strumming it off their cocks. Australia's bowling a pile of shit under 24 degrees sun, which is scorching. And we're talking boundary and over stuff. They put on 60, these two. Just as South Africa had a grip on the game, Mulder bunts one to cover for 29. That was threes, and I don't resolve from that. It's just a person who's on 29, doesn't know what to do from there, and I'm going to shovel one to cover and get out of here. We've all been there before, and none of us at the World Test Championship. So, again, well done to Mulder. Bavuma comes in. He lofts Stark over cover straight away. You think, is the ball holding up? Maybe a little bit's going on. But irrespective, the sense was, for the first time in the game, the batters were being proactive in the situation. The scoreboard was ticking over. Even though Australia had got the wicket, or a couple of wickets, the pressure was on the bowlers in this situation.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, Bavuma did try that lofted drive a couple of times in the first innings as well. I just I thought it was an interesting shot because it was his second ball, wasn't it? I was like, is there still a bit in this deck? And they were thinking, the best way to counteract the seam movement that we've seen so far is to go over the top and be aggressive. Because, I mean, Australia, Cummins did that yesterday afternoon for like 2 balls. But no one else really did it. It seemed difficult to even do that. So, yeah, I don't know.
So, then we come to certainly the biggest moment of the day, or the turning point of the day, podium turning point of the match. Stark gets Bavuma's edge with a score on 75. Smith's standing close at first slip. He's under a lid. The ball almost, at least from my vantage point, and we were right behind Smith. The ball, unlike a lot of others, the ball didn't come quickly to him, though he was close. It sort of ballooned a little bit. I wonder whether he just got his timing wrong, looking through the lid. It was. We'll come to the very visibly horrifying injury that he suffered from it, but it was it was straight to his breadbasket, and it was a very, very costly drop catch. And
would have been 3 for 75.
3 for 75 at that point. That is a turning point. That's cat pigeons, Stubbs. You get a look at Stubbs, and the ball still, probably got enough newness to be moving a little bit. You could see straight away that Smith had busted his right his digit, and it turns out to be a compound dislocation of his right little finger. He was writhing in pain. I also noticed. He was writhing in pain. Not that many of his mates came up to him, and he was making a beeline to get off the field, going straight to the pavilion. And in the middle of that line he was taking was Mitch Stark, who was just looking at him. And Smith crosses over the pitch and does the biggest arc around Stark to get off. And Stark's just huffing, which is, I don't think Stark was checking on him at that point. But look, others might have more detail on the implications of this injury, but it looks quite severe, and you're thinking he's going to be struggling to make that Windies tour.
I think that's it's probably like in the realm of I don't know. I'm not a physio, but you're right. But originally I thought he was doing the great thing that you do when you drop a catch, where they blame the sun, which there was plenty today, by the way. Did we mention that?
So I told you, Cummins has been mentioning it a lot.
I would have killed someone for a cloud for 10 minutes, or injure yourself, and so you've actually sacrificed your body for the in a heroic act for the team. So I thought he was doing that. Turns out his finger was falling off. So once again, I was wrong. And dumb. It's this weird thing, isn't it, mate? Because there's obviously been so many nicks falling short, and so that Jansen drops the catch yesterday afternoon and costs them 50-ish runs because Stark goes on to make 50 plus, right? So it was similar, I suppose, in that regard, because Bavuma's on about 65 or 70, something like that. But it's like that would have carried. But all these edges before were falling short. But then you see this sometimes, how often do you actually see guys with the helmet standing at that second slip position actually catch one? Yeah. So obviously the idea is you're better off dropping it, at least giving yourself a chance than standing back and having no chance.
It's like a putt going past the hole.
But the problem is exactly right. But the problem is that you make the catches that would go to you so much harder. Yeah. And he
should have taken it. He should have. Yeah,
probably. I also wonder, having never fielded in the slips with a helmet on, how much harder it is to actually catch a ball with a helmet on than the slips. They must practice it, so I don't know.
I
He still should have
thought he
caught it,
would
I
have got a
think.
good look at it as well with the way it came off Bavuma's bat. Like, it's not like Bavuma slashed at the ball and
No.
he was struggling to pick up the pace that it was coming at him. So, anyway, he obviously struggled at some level. I thought it might have been because it came slow. You know, if you're standing close, you're expecting it to come at you rapidly, and it might have come more slowly, and he missed his timing because it wasn't like he had to go either way. We're just talking about it a little too earnestly because I think on this moment the game shifts markedly because, and you could see with the Aussies you could see the body language after it. I think they knew they were pushing shit up a hill on this deck, so they needed to take those chances. Still, there was a sense Australia was making a few more things happening. But come to the third thing, he goes, I'm calling it history beckons because I want to talk about the partnership with Markram and Bavuma, and then what this all means. I mean, this was, if ever there was, it was fucking cash in after tea on this deck. They have cashed in deluxe after tea. Yep. They stayed busy at the start. Australia's shoulders were slumping. Lion wheeled away without seeming to get much from the deck early on. 50 partnership comes up. We're starting to get, as an Aussie, you're starting to get into, you're looking at the scoreboard, and we do this, all of us do this. You look at the scoreboard and you start getting into like one brings two areas. You're like, well, if we get one, we get another. Scoreboards looking different. You start negotiating with the scoreboard. You start looking at the scoreboard and seeing how it would feel if different numbers were on it. Like, how do we get to those numbers? Carey's on comms yelling out 3 for 100 boys. Like, he's starting to say stuff.
We need like a run out or something like that.
Exactly. And Cummins comes on. It's like, oh well, he'll do it. Sider will do it. And
it's been about 24 hours since he put the nation on his back.
Exactly. 24 minutes. And this is when he rests it back for Australia. He doesn't. He was seen off. Like, mate, I was out the outer at this point, and like I was just watching him walk back to his mark. Like, he's steaming in for the nation, and he's just walking back to his mark. It looks like almost arthritic. Like, he's just like, here we go again. You know what I mean? Like, that's how hard it was out there, I think. They're singing "Oh Temba Bavuma" to the White Stripes. Sort of rhythm there is reverberating around the crowd. We're waiting for something. We want a mistake. We want someone to please just shovel a ball to cover because you're scared. Yep. And like that's the thing with these two guys. Like, and we've seen a few guys do it in this game. Markram and Bavuma, they were locked in. Like, you could see how locked in they were. Totally. They were playing like men possessed. Yep. I got that impression. And, like, Markram punished anything on the front foot. I think he's played a chanceless innings. It's an absolutely epic 100 for him. Yep. He averages 22 away from home in 16 tests, Adam Markram.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Exactly. He averages 22 away from home in 16 tests. And he makes his epic 100 on the biggest stage. And the thing I noticed about the celebration for his 100, and the crowd were in raptures for him, he batted in a meditative state today, Adam Markram. Like, and when he made his 100, there wasn't this like flamboyant, cathartic release of emotion that we so often see from players where they reach a milestone. There's maybe 70 or 80 to win when he does it. He takes his helmet off and raises his bat with the same serenity with which he played. Like, it was almost like he knew that he was in a spell with himself. Right. Like, it's like he was under his own spell, and he didn't want to break it. He just stayed meditative and serene. Puts the helmet back on, just gets straight back into it. It's not like he had to calm himself down from that moment. And even when he walks off the field, and again, they've got another more work to do, but like, he walks off the field at the same rhythm. We've seen with the ICC, they're following the players all the way in through the long room, up the stairs. You're like, please follow them in so we can see the piece on it.
Tub cam.
But I wouldn't be surprised. Like, Markram still had that same rhythm all the way in. I wouldn't be surprised if he kept that all the way through to the tubs as well.
Oh, mate, I mean, what an innings. I mean, it was... I think it was chanceless, wasn't it? I mean, he barely played a miss from memory. I mean, it was front foot, it was back foot. Yeah. He's excellent with a short ball.
Challenge
anyway.
Around his pad, off his pads,
there was a couple of drives down the ground off Stark and off Hazelwood, I think it was, which were just nothing short of sumptuous. In a game where it's been so difficult, it's obviously tempting to be like, well, I'm going to say it anyway, 28 wickets in 2 days, 4 on the third day. Everyone's been saying, well, these teams are shit at batting. I mean, I don't think that's right. I mean, how can it be? Like, the bowling's been good. I mean, but the same bowlers are bowling today. I mean, the deck flattened out. But I mean, I think you've just watched an innings from a guy that's good at batting. Yeah. Maybe the record doesn't suggest that, so maybe I'm wrong. But that was just, just good on him. I mean, what an innings.
Temba Bavuma, a different aesthetic, mainly because he was like a Timu version of the Glenn Maxwell polio stride going.
And the captain couldn't run.
Yeah, he was like Temba was running like his legs were in braces, forbidden from straightening it. That's because he had a hamstring strain, and he looked, to me, apart from Smith dropping him, he looked equally impregnable. He was playing those forehand tennis shots off Nathan Lyon against the spin.
Like a Djokovic slapped through cover.
And
space.
We're starting to see shapes on the field we're not used to seeing. Like Scott Boland came on with a bib at one, like the orange bib at one stage, straight up to Cummins to give him messages. Clearly messages like, like coming from the coaches and stuff like that. Like,
sandpaper.
And he's saying, please bring the sandpaper out.
That's right.
Like Australia, they couldn't find any. They couldn't even seem to conjure plans, like Cummins was balancing trying not to concede too many runs with like in-out fields and stuff like that. He was trying not to concede boundaries, but I couldn't see anything particularly funky or innovative or something that they were settling on for a while. Like they weren't even really like there was the odd moment where the ball might have popped up or like spat off the deck, but not really. Like they couldn't seem to find something that they could lock into for a little bit of time because the batters were just doing it so easy. And it is credit to those batters. In this game, there've been a lot of dismissals from blokes losing concentration, and I think a lot of that is because we're underdone for Test cricket.
Yeah.
These two guys were playing fucking Test match when they were batting.
Yeah.
I would say you can't just say they just cashed in on a flatty.
No, I mean, I think fair play to the batters. I mean, because they scored at 4 runs and over just about. I mean, it's also taken away Australia's opportunity to have a second new ball.
Yep.
We're not going to get that far in the game. I mean, this game is done now. Australia's got to take 8 for 70. Realistically, probably 8 for 50 to not get it close. So, I mean, I guess that can literally happen because it's South Africa, but I don't think this time. And if you got to say fair play to the batters, they didn't let Australia settle. Who could have predicted last night that we would have seen 4 wickets fall today and barely... And Australia not even looking like taking a wicket. I mean, there was a sweep shot off line that fell just short of Constas, which was a top edge. It was a drop catch, obviously. But, I mean, apart from that, there wasn't an LBW review. Yep. There wasn't a nick falling short.
Yep.
There wasn't an uppish drive that fell just short of the
There weren't balls
fielders.
like thudding into thigh pads or like pads outside the stumps or into stomachs and stuff like that.
And same when Australia were batting, I mean, if what's his name, Jansen takes a catch off Stark last night and Australia goes 9 down at stumps, this game's already over.
Yeah.
So you just couldn't predict that. I mean, it's just... Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. All right, it's time for hashtag AskTGC, and this is where you'll get probably a different attitude towards the game. And
sorry, go on.
Oh, yeah, like there might be some, and I'm sorry that there's been some, rational analysis here, but there is a lizard part of the brain. There's a lizard part of the brain, as Daniel Gallen put it, and he's feeling pretty good at the moment.
Yeah.
Shout out to Dan.
I'm sure he's gave a beers.
Yeah, just got a text from him actually.
Mate, can I also mention how old the team looked any time they had to chase the ball? My God, we are an old team. And I say that as someone that's older than everyone in the team, but like Jesus Christ, there's not much youth in there.
I love him. Someone on our Patreon did say, "Why does Khawaja chase the ball like the whistling bloke from the Telstra ad?" Yeah.
Sorry, it was.
So it was
sorry,
I mean,
brother.
You can't help your age.
Yeah.
But
Mate, my feeling, like we've said it before, but this team has just given us so many memories.
Yeah.
But right now, I fucking hate all of them.
Now, lizard brain time. I got a couple of things here that came from the Patreon chat. Then we'll get to the questions, okay? And I think people have want a bit of this. All right. So first thing is, does the fall off need to be studied? Australia.
Good point.
Does the fall off need to be studied?
Yes.
Are we sending the horse to the glue factory? Is Bush Horse glue factory? I mean, it's not for me. It's not for me.
I mean, it's Hazelwood. It's Hazelwood.
These are the views of Aussies at about 2 a.m. in Australia watching this, just going horse glue factory.
I know. After me specifically promised, someone was going to win the world today. Yeah. And that's just not happened.
Yeah.
So.
TGC to the glue factory.
TGC glue factory. That's fair.
Are we sending the team to the glue factory? Did South Africa and Jay Shah change the pitch into the 4th innings?
That's interesting. I hadn't thought of that, but that does seem plausible now that I think about it.
Just a little observation I had. So as we said before, it's one of the nastiest parts of today is how nice South Africans are being to us.
It's been awful.
It's awful. It's the worst thing you could do. And so I was starting to feel really bad and sad for myself until Markram glided one to the boundary. I was in the outer, and somebody turned around to me, a South African, and just said, "Fetch." So it's there. It's there. It's there.
You two-faced bastards.
Yeah.
I know.
Fetch, boy.
I know it does. It doesn't help because obviously more people consume this show than physically at the ground, right?
Yeah.
But so it's not helpful when people talk about what it's like at the ground. But I'm going to do it anyway. These past 3 days have been absolutely wonderful in the ground because I mean, you and I both got heaps of mates here. I caught up with a mate of mine who's South African who I play club cricket with back home. And I was talking to him for ages, and he was saying, like, you know, the last few days has been, like, great banter between Aussies and Saffers, and, like, it's all banter, but then you're also having a beer with each other afterwards, and, like, it is...
no way we'd be as nice to them, by the way.
Absolutely no way we would disgrace ourselves, as I have, particularly on this show, the last week or so, but or perhaps 5 years.
No, we both have. Don't worry about that.
But, you know, like to see how many people are actually enjoying the cricket is I know it's a bit wet, but it's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
This test match, it's sad as well that it's not going to be a good finish because we're going to get pumped, which is you know, it's happening. But the game deserved more than like petering out. You know, I suppose from an Aussie perspective, anyway. Anyway, people are having a good time here.
Couple other questions here. I mean, from Australia's perspective, was there any danger of just bowling top of off with the odd sniff? You know, just mix up the footwork.
Oh,
what happened to top of off bowling?
Okay,
or just at the stumps?
Did anyone start counting the amount of dot balls has been?
Well,
on the road?
top of off, the odd sniff, mix up the footwork. Work hard, take catches.
Yeah. What about two catching covers?
Yeah. I think I did see that. I think Mitch Stark was running in and there were two catching covers, and he stopped and he shoots somebody away. He's like, listen, I don't play threes, okay? On the,
he doesn't play ones.
Now, why didn't Lyon take 6 for 41?
It is another failure.
Wasn't he bowled yet again? Not bowled team.
When are we going to find the new Shane Warne?
Exactly.
You know, 553 Test wickets, but
why didn't they lift? Is a question.
That's interesting.
Did they consider lifting?
That's interesting. Yeah. Was someone telling people to work hard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just out there, just like, boy, come on, boys, lift.
I'm not convinced that someone didn't say, come on, Australia, walking in with a bowler.
I was going to say, what, were they walking in with a bowler? Was anybody saying that? Constance came on, bring a bit of energy, young. Constance actually walked past Smith as he went off, and Constance said, "You're not well, mate."
Steve Smith was sucking on morphine on the way to hospital. Poor bloke.
Should Australia have considered picking a fight? He goes.
Now, did we target the captain?
Damn
it, sorry.
Why? The captain's out there.
Yeah.
He had a hamstring strain.
Yeah.
Why did they target him?
They targeted him.
I didn't look targeted to me. Okay, why didn't they change the ball in a tight situation?
I think they tried to.
Did they?
They tried to.
Oh, okay.
I think Cummins tried to,
Oh, okay. The Jukes ball. Do we need Hills in front of the silver bin?
Tomorrow morning, it's a good day for SEN.
I'd like to see Hills in front of the silver bin with the ball.
With the ball?
Just to seam up and wobble and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
You got to go top of off. Couple of sniffs, mix up the footwork.
All of a sudden, Heels has taken 7 for.
Exactly. On the flat.
Yeah, it's a call to Heels, though.
Exactly.
It's a call to Heels, though. Get it done.
He's got 100 off 30 balls in Delhi, the SEN studio. So, it couldn't. One of the sad things was it couldn't even get sat. That's the thing about 3 for 75 with Smith. Yes, it's flat, and maybe Subs comes in and just drums it too. But 3 for 75, you got the 3 there, and then on 3 figures. South Africa are getting into the gas truck headspace.
Yes.
Like we haven't given them a chance to gas truck yet. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like these two have actually moved it into a scenario where what's most likely is that South Africans actually get to enjoy this win in party mode. They don't have to suffer it in a nervy way. There's no way they're going to gas truck this.
God damn it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Why didn't we get them into gas truck space?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Just to see what happens.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm thinking about Mancats. I'm thinking about desperation times here.
True.
Violating my morality.
All right, and then just so these are the questions from Patreon. I know it's gone on a little bit. Crowsmith say, boys, without knowing precisely what the result will be, would you say it's time for the viewers to crack each other's heads open and feast on the gooey's side?
Yes, I would, Kent.
Gareth Sidemouth Gate says, at least you get to see your pals. That's kind of dark. Head on Pike stuff, says Lick of the Tism, not to be confused with Sydney Swans Canadian Premiership ruckman Mike Pike.
Yes, okay, yeah, thank you.
Scat Plumbing says, not once have I ever enjoyed cricket.
Yes.
Pepper Paypig says, Steve Smith to become Australia's best leg spinner now that we have taken a hammer to his fingers.
He's just rebirthed his career.
Robert Turner says, will Smith to get away with drop because he broke something?
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Well, there were questions, we won't say from who, but like people were questioning why the picture that was used of Smith's injury was so gory. Because you could see a little bit of the bone, I think.
Usually they don't show that.
Yeah, but I mean, I do think it's a digit. Like it's not like a leg.
It's not a leg.
And also it's also social engagement, and also it distracts from the horrendous drop catch.
Yeah. There goes Smudger now.
Who milked it best, Shamar Joseph or Temba Bavuma?
Do you know what's been scary the last 8 hours, Pezzo? Is it's now England are up and about when they've just seen Australia being completely dismantled.
Absolutely.
And now there's definitely been some comments in Patreon that I've seen just like, I'm scared for the Ashes now.
Yep.
That's what happens. So look, Australia have lost the game. We are in crisis mode. Yep. Are we sure about bowling captains? You know, is it time for a change from basically 1 to 6? I do think there are some issues with the order, and like we've got about 5 number 5s in the side.
Well, and
Smith being injured is going to prolong that decision later because Green will probably bat at 4, Inglis at 3 in the West Indies. I don't know. So we still won't know, but it's going to be tempting to. Australia's somehow lost this game, and they haven't played that badly, have they? Have they
performed like now? It's our right and obligation and ritual to say questions will be asked.
Questions will be asked.
Questions will be asked.
Maybe they have been shit. I don't think they have though.
Well, someone has written, whose name I can't say. It's just that a player currently in the game and their boxing instructor says, would a loss of this embarrassing nature and scale lead to a rejection of everything Cummins stands for and a subsequent overcorrection? Will we see the next Test captain chosen from the ranks of the Young Liberals or the board of BP? Will JL be reinstated as head coach and dictator a la Trump? Just how many training sessions will Uzi be forced to partake in?
Yeah.
And they are the questions that need asking. Travis Head didn't arrive at the last World Test Championship final until 2 minutes before it started, still drunk from his honeymoon, and he made 163. He does the same thing this game and doesn't succeed.
Yeah.
He's got to get the training.
Yeah, I noticed that Usman was batting in a jumper when it was sunny.
Yeah.
So does he want it enough?
That's true. Who is getting sacked for this? Somebody else. I guess so. So in Australia, people want heads. They just want heads to roll.
That's how cricket Australia works.
Yeah, blood must be trickling from somebody ritualistically for us to be able to get through this.
This is the culture, Daniel Bedingfield style, who's not even going to get a fucking bat in this innings. This all this culture leads to how we behave on the internet.
Yeah.
So we are just products of this.
And again, this is where these questions are coming in. And you might see this in the major mastheads tomorrow. Highgate Golf Course admin says, do you think Bailey is too close to the players?
Did I see that bloke wearing a polo anywhere near the sheds?
Yeah.
Was he wearing a polo, a CA polo?
I have wondered if he's just getting a little too close.
He's getting a little close, yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Interesting. Omicron needed now comes in. Omicron how contract, someone says. Someone just wrote, I am Chinese. Okay.
Okay, nice.
Ange in, McDonald's out, and he's called him McDonald's.
Big Ange, yeah. Now, that's something we can get behind for a short period of time before turning on him.
Yeah, so, anyway, TGC viewing figures boom as South Africa win looms. We're calling it how we see it, and we're also calling it how a very ugly, arrogant person would see it too. Sometimes they're the same thing, I contain multitudes.
Well, I suppose we haven't got the weekend off. We're going to have Saturday afternoon off, I suppose, but we'll be back again right here on TGC. Thank you very much to Prime Video, where you can catch all the action exclusively in Australia on Prime Video for the World Test Championship final. Hearts are broken. We're still going to have a good time because we're going to catch up with some people that haven't spoken to us in 3 days.
But people want hearts to be broken, and they are. And you know what? I'm filthy.
Yeah, I'm filthy.
I'm actually filthy.
Yeah.
I think it's coming straight to Silverwater or Nauru.
Every single comment that says suck shit, you'll be entirely right to say so.
That's your right.
That's your right.
That's your right. You've endured some absolute absolutely appalling commentary from us, and you just do what you got to do.
And I can't believe that the team that sent the worst team of all time to New Zealand and disrespected the format is about to win the most coveted thing in that format. And you know what? Fair fucks to you. See you tomorrow.